What is going on, you guys? AK40 Kevin here in the Gamer Heaven. Today we're going to be unboxing the brand new Xbox Series S. I just made a video about an hour ago or so, or at least got uploaded about an hour ago. I did actually lock in a Xbox One S today with a same-day Best Buy pickup. They also do have the Series X in stores. I covered in that last video briefly why I chose the Series S over the Series X. Obviously, it's $200 cheaper, and it has a third of the graphical power. So you'd be thinking, well, what if you're going to get a next-gen console, Kevin? Why would you get that? I have plenty of reasons, actually. This is the best value as far as both versions of the PS5 and both versions of the new Xbox Series, and I'm going to get into why as I unbox this. The unboxing knife we're going to be using today is, haven't used this bad boy in a while. Yeah, that works. So, Xbox Series X. It is $299 versus $499 in comparison to the Xbox Series X, as well as the PlayStation 5 with the optical drive. So first of all, getting a good look at the box here. It says, 512 gigabyte SSD. The One X has a 1 terabyte, and the PS5 has a 825, I believe. It's a very off number. It's like 825. It's actually not. You can actually store about 640 gigs worth of games. So you get like 4 or 5 major PS5 titles, and you're full, and they don't have the proprietary memory out to expand, so there's that. 120 frames per second here. That is targeted at 1440. Realistically, that's probably more like 1080p when you're looking at the specs of what this pushes. Not only with teraflops, because teraflops isn't a great judge of a new architecture. It's like apples to oranges. You can't compare different architectures, or even like PlayStation and Xbox teraflops. Like, yeah, you kind of can for bragging rights at the bar, but that's about it. So right here, gaming at up to 120 frames per second. Xbox Velocity architecture. So what that has is built-in ray tracing capabilities that are specific, proprietary to the Xbox. So yes, this can do ray tracing. However, most developers are not supporting ray tracing for the One S right now, just the One X and the PS5, because they haven't really figured out how to run ray tracing on here without dipping the frame rates too hard, because this is a weaker console. 512 gigabyte SSD, so again, some of that is probably for the operating system and system program, so probably about, I'd say, 420 gigabytes of games. But you actually can plug in a external hard drive into this one, like a Seagate 4 terabyte external or something like that, as long as the read and write speed's quick enough. You can run your Xbox One games off of that, but you will not take advantage of the quick loading speeds of the onboard SS Dizzle. HDR, so this does have full HDR support, which is great if you have an HDR TV. If not, you won't see the difference. Just like you won't see the 120 frames per second or refresh rate hertz unless you have a TV that has a plug in the back that says 4K 120, which is going to be an HDMI 2.1 port. When we look on the asset of my TV in the living room there, you will see I do have 2 of those ports. So on this side, you have curbside pickup with my name. I did order this on Best Buy, and within 30 minutes, I got a confirmation email saying your order is now ready for curbside pickup. Text us with this, this app or whatever when you arrive. They come out, they'll, check your ID and make sure it's you, and give you your console. It was a little bit hectic there. There was a lot of crazy drivers in the parking lot running out of there with TVs and curlers in their hair and wearing fucking slippers and shit and fucking exposed bathrobes with their jiggly bits hanging in the wind. But that's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, boys. Alright, so cracking into this here bad boy. Also on the back here, it does show you a little advertisement for Game Pass, which the Game Pass in combination with a Series S is the best value in gaming. Literally, right out of the box, you have over 100 AAA titles, some indie games, but mostly AAA titles. Microsoft just bought Bethesda. Those are available on Game Pass, not to mention when these new release titles, these blockbusters like Halo Infinite come out, they're playable day one on Game Pass, which is awesome. So if you're on a budget, you get the Series S and Game Pass, it's great. Is it the most powerful next-gen console? Abso-fucking-lutely not. But it's no slouch either, boys. Alright, so you have Xbox printed up here on the old cardboard. Bring you guys over Daddy's shoulder a little bit so you can see what I'm doing just a little bit better, huh? Yeah, move my softbox light. That looks much better, guys. Alright, great. So, Power your wet dreams, it says. And this is the console. It is by far, by a long shot, the smallest new-gen console. Both of the Xbox Series X and PS4 are absolutely massive. Part of the reason I bought this is actually because I'm going to be putting this in my bedroom. And this is quite compact, and it's also white. And I have white furniture in my bedroom, so... You know, this isn't the most handsome console, obviously. This big exhaust grill port to me just looks like a speaker or something. It's kind of ugly, but I mean, this is extremely tiny. This can fit into anyone's entertainment center. If you travel a lot due to school or work or whatever, you can just throw this in a laptop bag or a backpack and plug into your hotel TV or whatever, and you are good to go. So you have a USB port in the front, you have your pairing button, you have your power button, which also has a status light indicator, you have exhaust ports on each side, you also have rubber feet on this side if you want to put her vertically. On the ass end here, you have your power plug, you have an HDMI output to your TV, you have two USB 3.0s. You know it's 3.0 because it's labeled with SS, or solid state drive, so it's very quick. And then you of course have an Ethernet port if you decide to go with the wired option, as you should if you have that option in your house. A lot of people can't because they are renting a house or in an apartment where they can't, you know, drill into a wall and tap in an Ethernet cable, or they don't want to run Ethernet cables underneath the carpet or in the walls or whatever. That's cool. I mean, if you can't run Ethernet, it's not a problem. All right, so this is your quick start guide. Very nice, very nice. Shows you how to get the controller up and running, which I'm assuming, yes sir, is right in here. You have your HDMI cable, which I'm assuming all the new gen consoles will come with an HDMI, yep, high speed. So this is what you need for those 2.1 ports in your TV. Then of course you have your power cable. The days of external power bricks are gone, which is fantastic because that was an absolute shit show. You have your controller here. These aren't new to me. I've already unboxed, disassembled, and been playing on PC with a Series X controller. The Series S controller is identical, but you get the white version to match your new console. As or with the Series X, you get a black or carbon black version. This is called like Snow White or something. But yeah, these new controllers are great. Very, very similar to an Xbox One controller, to the point where you can use these on an Xbox One, and you can use Xbox One controllers on your Series S and X. Very similar. I mean, face buttons are identical. Some subtle changes though. They now use a hybrid D-pad that has a wheel around it for fighting games, and then also 4 raised points. You have a quick share button where you can upload clips and stuff like that. You do have better triggers and bumpers. The triggers have a better resistance. They also have this ribbed for his pleasure material on there. They've shaved a couple millimeters off of the bumpers, and the bumper design, during my disassembly video, you can tell it's completely different. It's a more durable plastic, and the way that the buttons actually actuate on the bumper buttons is completely different. I think this design is fantastic. It's much more durable. Other than that, it's identical. You do have USB-C on the top now, not USB micro. Or micro USB. Now you can still use disposables, but you know, most Xbox players, what I recommend to you guys, what I've always done with my Xboxes, is just go onto Amazon for about 15-20 bucks. You can get 2 batteries and a dock, and just you'll save a fortune in disposables. And you know, if you ever need disposables because both your rechargeables are dead or something, you still have the option to pop those in, which is great. Let's go over there in the living room real quick and get this bad boy set up, shall we? Guys, over here in the living room, we're gonna go ahead and fire up the Xbox Series S for the first time ever. You get that familiar Xbox chime that we know and love. Now I should automatically get a pop-up here. Yep, telling me that HDMI port 3. To provide optimal picture quality, Ultra HD Deep Color will be turned on for the current HDMI port. So I'm going to show you guys in the back there of the TV. I am plugged into one of the 2 ports that I have that does support 4K 120, even though this console will not hit 4K 120. It's more like 1440 or even 1080. But as you see, I have 2 ports that are rated for HDMI 4K 120. I know the lighting back here isn't too great. And then the rest of them are all just, you know, traditional. So as you guys can see, unfortunately, my entertainment system is super bare right now. All we have is a PlayStation Slim that's hiding back there behind the new Series S. We have the jailbroken Wii that I've had for years. I am about to be getting another Switch. I just found a really good used deal on Facebook Marketplace, and yeah, I'm not paying full retail for a Switch. I don't really think it's worth it, but anyway. And then once we get the PlayStation 5, that is absolutely huge, so that will be standing up vertically down in there. If I were to get a Series X, that would have been standing up vertically in there, in the little Xbox spot, and then I have the Switch right there in the middle in the old Nintendo zone. So basically I would have all three manufacturers represented in different sections of the entertainment center. Anyway, enough jaw jacking and lip smacking, let's get this bitch set up. All right, turning on the new controller for the first time. It probably will need to be paired unless it's already pre-paired with this console. No, the fuck it is not, so let's get that done. In order to do that, you just hold the pairing button on the top here. She'll start flashing you. And then you press the pairing button here. She'll start flashing you from over there. Once you're getting double flashed, it'll pair up in just a hot tick. We're good to go. So you can set it up with the Xbox app, which I think I'm gonna do actually because it allows you to instantly transfer your games over from your existing Xbox. So I've had an Xbox One S and an Xbox One X. And so I've got a ton of games already stockpiled in my library. I have absolutely zero physical disc games. That's why me missing out on an optical drive with the Series S, which is digital only, not a big deal, because I already pretty much stream content exclusively, like Netflix and Disney Plus and shit, and all my games are digital anyway. So, like, but don't get me wrong, I do still have a Blu-ray movie collection, and I do have some PlayStation 4 games that are on disc. That's why I'm buying the optical drive for the PlayStation 5. All right, so for the application, it's very straightforward. You have these blocks here. You're going to enter that code right there. Unable to join sounds good. Great. I didn't think it would go that smooth, and sure enough, it didn't. So that's a good sign. There it is. All right. It shows a picture of a Series S and my cell phone connected, and great. All right, confirm your language. English, I speak it. United States, where I'm at, next. My home Wi-Fi network, as this console is going to be on Wi-Fi. The only thing in my house that's plugged up via Ethernet would be my gaming PC. But for content's sake, I will be doing some testing, both hardwired and Wi-Fi, on the Series S and the PlayStation 5 when I do get that. Cool, your console is online. Next, let's update. Your console needs 794 megabyte update, which will download over its connected network. Yes, do it. So while it's doing that, which is going pretty goddamn quick because I have pretty decent internet here, that's pretty cool. So some of the things you can do is play Xbox games on your phone. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can. Turn on and control your console from your phone through the app, and install new games remotely on your console. So none of those really sound like anything I would use, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit skip on that. Now let's get you signed in with an Xbox profile. Yes, indeed. All right, sweet. So the install on the actual console itself is now complete. I was unable to sign into my Xbox account from the phone application because, well, apparently I cannot disable cookies on my phone for God knows whatever reason. Let's update your controller. Cool, let's do it. Keep the controller motionless and turned on. All right, let's set that on the old table there and not touch a goddamn thing. Oh, the joys of a new console, boys. Okay, look away, boys. All right, so I'm all set up, as you can see. Good old AK-47 Kevin, that's the name. This is the game. Getting all set up here. We're going to go ahead and apply the settings. How do you want to sign in? I'll use instant sign-on. I'm the only user for this console. It's just me now. I don't have a family anymore, so this is just going to be me. So we're going to use instant sign-on, considering I have multiple Xbox controllers. And yes, you can use Xbox One controllers on a Series and Series controllers on an Xbox One. That includes your Elites, your Scuffs, whatever. They're already patched over and ready to go. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So you can do the first month for $1 because you just bought a new console. Actually, that might be like just their going promotion anyway. But we are going to get that because there's a shitload of good titles, and I'm always saying it's a great value, and it really, really, really is. But I think we might have got a code with ours, so we're going to go ahead and check that out right now. All right, that is a negative on the Game Pass for a Series S because it is their entry-level cut-and-cost console. Obviously, no optical drive, way less horsepower than the Series X, whatever. So we are going to get the first month for $1, and then you can either do $14.99 a month, which I believe that's for PC and for the Xbox. If you just want it on PC or just on the Xbox, I believe it still is $9.99 unless they changed it. But oh yeah, that's Ultimate. So Ultimate does include PC and console, which is cool because your progress transfers over. So you play a game over here, then you're playing it on your PC, then you come back over here, like all your progress and trophies and shit gets transferred over. Not to mention you're enjoying like all these games on keyboard and mouse and on controller, which is pretty fucking cool. It's already got my PayPal information saved from my, I guess, my previous consoles or whatever. That's cool. That's less shit that I have to enter. Take my money. Quicker, easier. Now, I generally am solely against subscription services, besides like Netflix, because I've had that for so goddamn long. I am in... Alexa, what time zone am I in?
Central Standard Time.
Thank you, sweetheart. Sometimes you just don't know. That's sad when you have to ask Alexa what time zone you're in. I knew it was either Central or Eastern or Mountain or one of them shits. For daylight savings, yes, we did just hit daylight savings. 24-hour clock. I may be in the military, but I don't want to see that time. Not at home. Let's see. Instant on, baby. Instant fucking on. I like my gratification quick. Keep your games. Yes, 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 indeed. Yes, I do. So, I haven't done a review on this bad boy yet, but I did just get a brand new TV here recently. Keep display at 4K, honey, obviously. All right, so the user interface is almost identical to the previous Xbox. It does look a little bit different. I've been hearing people say it's identical. It's not. It does look a little bit different, at least because I don't have a theme applied or anything or any kind of background. It's just the default black with very colorful icons here. We're going to go through settings. This is what I do every time I get a new console before I start playing or anything. We're just going to go through the basic settings real quick. Get around an Xbox because I sold my One X a while ago. I love that console, but I did sell it because I wasn't playing it because I had built a gaming PC and all the Xbox exclusives are actually Microsoft exclusives. And you know, with my PC, it's obviously a lot more powerful than a Series S, or it's about on the level of a Series X, maybe a little bit more powerful. And you can play like a console just by plugging in your controller into the PC or whatever, or play with keyboard and mouse, stream on 2 different monitors. You can do a lot more shit with a PC, obviously. But anyway, I do love console. I do love console, though. All right, so network settings, we are good to go. I am going to make a separate video on how to boost your home internet speeds for both Wi-Fi and Ethernet by adjusting your DNS settings, as well as playing with your router placement in your house, as well as how to use repeaters and you know, some tweaks on your home modem as well. So that is a separate video, but coming in the near future. Make sure you're subscribed for that. But for now, we're just going to run a quick network speed test and see what we're getting up and down. Don't embarrass me in front of my friends. This better be some banging ass speeds. Not too bad for Wi-Fi. 214 down and 7.4 on the up with a 50 millisecond latency, 100% wireless strength, 0% packet loss. That is not bad, but it's not too great either. I do have gigabit here, so I could be getting up to 1,000 down and about 60 or 80 up. That's generally what I get on my PC when I'm wired to Ethernet. Or if I'm on Wi-Fi on my PC, I get about 300 down and 30 up. See, there we go. Okay, that's better. That upload speed, that's gonna matter when I start streaming directly from this console to Twitch or whatever. Mixer used to be the default streaming platform on the Xbox, but they have shut down, so I don't know if it defaults over to Facebook Gaming now, which has absolved Mixer, or if, you know, since Mixer was Microsoft's streaming platform, they might not give a shit anymore. They might just let you stream to Twitch, which would be cool. Like on the PS4, I've streamed Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2, the new Crash Bandicoot, directly from my PS4 console. Granted, that was 720p at 30 frames per second because that is a PS4 Slim. But if you have the Pro, that's 1080 at 60. And I think the Series S and X probably have some pretty good numbers as well for streaming. So real quick in general, guys, obviously I would recommend running a couple internet speed tests to make sure that you're getting the speeds that you that satisfy you. Personalization over here, this is where you're able to adjust your themes as well as your logo for your profile, like your icon, stuff like that. Now down here by TV and display options, make sure that, see right now I'm at 60 hertz by default. Don't know why. We're gonna crank it to 120 though, because that's what the console and my TV are rated for. All right, we are now at 4K Ultra HD 120. Now granted, in-game, this console can't push that, so it's gonna try and, it'll give you an option usually to have a high refresh rate and shittier graphics, or crispier graphics and a lower, like, 30, 60 hertz refresh rate. in which case I would most likely choose refresh rate over graphics. I would leave device control default over here under 4K TV details. It's going to show you how big the dick of your TV is. The shaft on my television is extremely large. As you can see, there's not a single feature on there that doesn't have a tick in the box. This is a flagship TV by LG that I got 33% off on Amazon. Link to that in the description below, as well as some other random goodies around the living room that you might see. But yeah, it does all that stuff. 4K at 60 hertz, HDR 10, Dolby Vision. You can calibrate HDR for games here, which is pretty cool. All right, this app shows a series of test patterns to determine the characteristics of your HDR TV. Calibration values are stored in the system, and games can choose to use this information to enhance their visuals for your HDR TV. Current TV's in HDR mode. Yes, it is. Before you begin, set your TV into game mode. Okay, this is important. I am going to set it into game mode, which I think it already is. No, it is not. Okay, now we are in game mode. Set room lighting to match your normal gameplay environment. Certainly wouldn't have a, it would be like this. There we go. Darkest visible details on your TV. Use your Xbox controller to adjust the image until you can barely make out the checkerboard pattern. The brightest visible details on your TV. So this is important. You do all this stuff before you start playing your games and watching movies, because it is going to make your picture quality substantially better, boys. I'd never steer you guys wrong. Cool, and then it shows you what it looked like before we calibrated and what it looks like now, so awesome. Allow low latency, allow all this stuff. This should be ticked off by default, but if it's not, make sure all that is checked, because those are features that are available within the console. All right, online safety and family. If you have children, you can go in here and set some limitations on what websites they can browse, so they don't go to like creampies.com trying to look for desserts or anything like that, and then get a nasty surprise. Volume and, okay, this is for your audio, obviously. You have your chat mixer settings here. I want my party chat through headset, not bleeding out of the speakers as well, because then everyone hears themselves reverbing into the headset, which is ridiculous. Yeah, for now we're going to do stereo uncompressed because I'm running that sound bar underneath the TV. I do have surround sound speakers. As you can see, there's one up there and another one over there and stuff like that, but they're not set up yet because I have to drill into the wall and drop down wires because I don't want any visible wires because I'm bougie. So I have not set up my Logitech Dolby Atmos surround yet. I'm just running a Samsung soundbar right now, which does sound pretty good. So right now we are going to use stereo uncompressed. When I do hook up those speakers, that will be 5.1 uncompressed. Now this is specifically for headphones. This depends on what kind of headphones you have. Generally, Windows Sonic will work for anything. If you have a headset that says on the box and on the instruction manual, Dolby Atmos, then go ahead and set it to that. Or if it has DTS on the box, set it to that. Or if they have none of them and you're having issues with Windows Sonic, you can go back to stereo uncompressed. For now, I would just leave that default. This is the settings here for how your console is going to handle being started up, as well as power save features. So after an hour of inactivity, I want it to turn off. Luckily with that SSD, this thing will fire right back up real quick. I always want to hear that startup chime. And then here, if you want to restart or do a full shutdown, so if you're going to unplug this thing out of the wall to move it or something, make sure you do a full shutdown first. Don't just put it in rest mode or standby mode, please, for the love of God. Power mode, we wanted that instant on. You can wake up the Xbox by saying Xbox on. You will need to be mic'd up or have a Kinect connected or like a USB microphone plugged in the back, because unlike the PS5, these controllers do not have a built-in microphone. This is if you have an external hard drive set up or plugged into one of the USB ports. If the Xbox is off, it won't be running the storage, so that's kind of good. Give it a break if it doesn't need to be on. All right, this is where you enter your billing information for buying online games. This is where you're going to link your Discord, your Twitter. I'm pretty sure you can link like Twitch and stuff like that, but I could be wrong. Like, I know you can stream from this console. I just don't know what platform they actually use, but we'll figure that out and have a separate video on how to stream directly from this console. You have your subscriptions over here. This will be like your Xbox Gold or your Xbox Live or your Game Pass. So this is for the kids here, privacy and online safety, as well as family settings. You can basically set multiple passkeys for different guests that might log in and stuff like that, so they can't look up like chocolatestarfish.com thinking that they're looking at, a rare species of aquatic animal, and literally they're just staring down the one-eyed monster. So that's something there. content restrictions. Again, that's more for kids and shit. You got your console info here. If you want to manually install updates because you don't keep your console automatically up to date, you can do that there. You can manage your storage from over here. We're only using 0.5%. So holy shit. Oh, that's depressing. That's sad. Oh my God. So you only have 362 gigs of free space. That's nothing. Like, holy shit. So keep in mind, this is rated at 512 gigabytes on the box, but you only have 362 usable. That sucks shaft. That's terrible. You're going to need an external hard drive on here for sure. All right, you can back up and transfer previous settings from other consoles by connecting them, tethering them like that. This is where you're going to control your accessories and whatnot. If you want to remap any of the buttons, yes, even the stock regular controllers like this, you can adjust a whole heck of a lot of things on them. You're going to be playing with a mouse for shooters. You can calibrate that here. If you have the media remote accessory, you can set that up there. Also, if you want to be able to set up, digital assistants like Alexa and Cortana and Google and all that stuff, you can set that up through here. Alrighty guys, over here in the office now. I'm sorry that video did run stupid long, but I mean, it's exciting. You're unboxing a new console, which is an experience. Not to mention, there are a lot of settings that you should go through and need to go through initially in order to make sure that you are at 4K 120, which this console can do. However, in-game, if you're running 4K in a game, it'll be at like 30 frames per second, as the console aims to hit 1440. It's dynamically upscaled, 1440, at a maximum of 120 frames per second. No games currently are supporting that yet for the One S. It's the same thing on the Series X and the PS5. Most games are hitting like 4K 60 right now if you look at all the testing that's been done, and that is not native. It's not like a PC where you're getting native resolution. What that is it is producing a native resolution of 1440 and then upscaling it, dynamically upscaling it through the onboard architecture, expanding the canvas from 1440 to 2160 4K. So that's how that works. It still looks good to the human eye and everything. It's not like dynamic looks like noticeably worse than native, but I am hearing a lot of people say like, oh, it's native 4K 120. And even... if even dynamic, these aren't hitting 4K 120. These consoles are hitting like 4K 60 right now. Look at Valhalla, look at, Warzone. Yeah, they do have an option on like Warzone and stuff like that for 120 hertz. However, that does drop down that dynamic up-res to about 1440. You just can't tell because, well, the difference between 1440 and 4K, yeah, on paper, the number looks a lot bigger, but really, like, you can ask the PC gamers, 1440 already looks pretty goddamn pretty, especially when done with the right textures and ray tracing and stuff like that actually make a bigger difference than just resolution, like the shaders, the textures, that kind of stuff. It makes a huge difference. So this video is already super long. I apologize for that. I am going to be making a lot of separate content for the Series S, going over more in depth on the user interface, how to speed it up, how to get rid of pre-installed applications and settings that are slowing down your system behind the scenes. And also we are going to run some in-game testing of games that I've already played on the One X, which was the flagship from last generation, which has more teraflops. It has 6.4, I believe, and this has 4, or 4.2 on the Series S. So in essence, it should be uglier, but because this is a new architecture and everything, and it has ray tracing and a bunch of other things like the SSD, I have a feeling the Series S is actually going to outperform what I've seen on the One X from being a long-term owner, 2 years. So, yeah. If you guys are into that kind of content, please consider subscribing. If you did enjoy this video, it was a little bit informative for you guys, please hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And enjoy your new consoles, whether you're on PS5, Series S, Series X, or you're still rocking a PS4 Slim, or, a Switch, or whatever you enjoy gaming on. Just enjoy your games, guys. See you in the next video. Peace.